10 random magic cards rated. Day number 59, everybody. We're getting close. It's also Thursday. We're getting close to that weekend, baby. Let's see what the first card of the day is. It's Bog Initiate. Only ever printed in Invasion. This is 2 mana, 1 and a black for a 1/1 wizard. It's a human wizard. You can pay 1 to add black to your mana pool. That's what the card does. There was a time, okay, when this was a thing. Maybe by the time Invasion came out, it wasn't as much of a thing. But we used to use a card from Fallen Empires, believe it or not, there were good cards in that set, called Initiates of the Ebon Hand. And we would use that to funnel colorless mana. It basically did what this did. We'd use that to funnel colorless mana, or any color of mana, into a Drain Life, which you can only pump black mana into. And that does, as much damage as mana as you pump into it, and also gains you all that life. So we would actually use these cards to make good Drain Lives back in the day. Nowadays, they're not as good. It's just not very good at all, in fact. So I'm going to give this a 3.5. You want to funnel some mana? It'll do that. Next card is Assassinate. Yep, Assassinate. Originally printed in Time Spiral. 3 mana, 2 and a black for a sorcery. Destroy a tapped creature. Why is it sorcery speed? This is number one question. This one is meant to teach people that sorcery speed is not good. But still, it's a removal spell. Let's give it a 3.6. Something like that. Mana Drain. Wow. Okay, here's Mana Drain. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 mana, both of it blue, for an instant. Counter target spell. At the beginning of your next main phase, add an amount of colorless equal to that spell's mana value. This is not only banned in Historic, as it should be, but it's so good that it's banned in Legacy. It's banned in Legacy. This is the single best counterspell ever printed in the history of the game. And to be honest with you, to be 100% Oprah honest, not close. There is not. Force of Will is about as close as it gets. But this is a counterspell that then gives you a bunch of mana. Just unbelievable, dude. Even if it only gives you like 2 mana, still ramps you 2 for a turn, allowing your control deck to actually, tap some mana during its turn and still keep shields up. Mana Drain is a self-evidently broken Magic card, and it makes no sense that it exists in the first place. So this was sort of Wizards saying, because I'm not the only one. At the beginning of Magic, there were people saying like, oh, I'm sick of all these decks that just play 4 Counterspell, 4 Power Sink, 4 Spell Blast, 4 Wrath of God, these control decks that just like, control my board state with Swords to Plowshares and Wrath of God, control everything I try to play with Spell Blast and Power Sinks and Counterspells, and then just finish me with a Sarah Angel. These decks have existed since the beginning of time. They're meant to exist. It is Magic as Garfield intended, but a lot of people have been upset about even the existence of islands. We used to have a meme that was like, ban islands. Before memes even existed, in 1996, there was a joke about, a petition to ban islands, mostly because counterspells are too strong. Also, like, Ancestral Recall and stuff. But, yeah, counterspells just being a little bit too strong. This, in my opinion, has always been Wizards' way of saying, screw you. We like our control decks. We like our counterspells. We're going to keep them in the game as long as we possibly can. And we're going to print ridiculous versions of them. You thought counterspell was bad? Here's an even better counterspell. So... and I mean, a million times better than normal counterspell. And normal counterspell is still one of the best counterspells ever printed. It really is. So just what does that tell you about Mana Drain? It is banned in freaking Legacy. What does that tell you about Mana Drain? This card gets a 10. This card gets a 9.9. This card gets a 9.9. I will save the 10s for actual Power 9 and stuff like that. But this is about as close as it gets, man. This is literally as close as it gets. 9.94. For this thing. This is probably the best card that we've reviewed in the history of the series. So if you're watching on a random Thursday and you came across this, good for you. This is really a special Magic card right here. So moving on to Woodland Changing, printed in Lorwyn. Not as exciting. 2 mana, 1 and a green for a 2/2 shapeshifter with changeling, so it's every creature type all the time. Pretty cool. That's about it. Just a bear that's every creature type, which can actually, you can find some use for that. So I'm going to give it a 4.5. I'm serious. This changeling is a very good ability. Moving on, it's stickers. Get those out of my face. Graaz, Unstoppable Juggernaut is up next. Printed in Phyrexia, all will be one. 8 mana for a 7/5 legendary artifact creature, which is also a juggernaut, so it's a callback to a card we used to love. Juggernauts you control attack each combat if able. Juggernauts you control cannot be blocked by walls. What's so special about that? When am I going to play a Juggernaut deck? Well, you finish reading the card. Other creatures you control have base power and toughness 5/3 and are juggernauts in addition to their other creature types. So this is a callback to Juggernaut. This card right here. Oh, there's a special frame version of it. But why would I do that when I can just go back and look at the actual old frame version? This is 4 mana for a 5/3 artifact creature that has to attack each turn if possible and cannot be blocked by walls. So you see what they did with the reference here? This used to be a very good Magic card. I know it doesn't look like much now, but this used to be a phenomenal Magic card played in most decks at a point because of the rate. 5 mana, 4 mana, 5 power creature was just insane. Insane. It almost always takes something out with it. So it's kind of a removal spell in a way too. Just absolutely brutal Magic card. It really is. Let's get back to Graaz though. This is just a meme. It just makes all your dudes jugs, and I really wish it made all of your opponent's creatures walls, it doesn't quite do that. I guess the idea here is to get a bunch of tokens or something, little 1/1 guys, and then make them all into 5/3s. And that's fun. And you get oops, all colorless kind of commander thing going on here, which I always like. It is very unique, and I like unique commanders. So with that in mind, it gets the honorary 5 of the day. I will do that for this card. I think it deserves it. It's just really neat. It's just a really, really cool Magic card that honestly should cost more. I want to brew with this card like right now. Every time I see it, I want to brew with it. But up next is Inspiring Unicorn, printed in Guilds of Ravnica. Really, really good art too, by the way. This is 4 mana, 2 and 2 white for a 2/2 unicorn. When it attacks, creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. So it's got a form of battle cry that also, gives you a toughness bonus while it's at it. So kind of an anthem effect, kind of a 4 mana body that is an anthem effect if it gets in. That's not bad, right? But still not good. So I'm going to give it a 4. We'll give it a 4. It deserves, give it a 3.9. It deserves that. Moving on to Tallowisp, only ever printed in Betrayers of Kamigawa. This is 2 mana, 1 and a white for a 1/3 spirit. Whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, you may search your library for an enchant creature card, an aura card, reveal it, put it into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. So not good. Basically anything that cares about spirit and arcane spells is going to be kind of bad, but there are some commander decks that give a crap about spirits. There are. So it's not the worst thing like ever, because searching for an enchantment or an aura that enchants a creature could be very good. And honestly, yeah, in spirits, you just play this, right? In a very specific kind of spirits deck, you play this. So I don't know. It's not bad. I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 5. No, I won't. I'll give it a 4.6. I'll give it a 4.6. If you can trigger this once in Commander, then it's good because it's a tutor. If you can trigger it twice, it's really crazy. So yeah, I think it deserves some love. But we'll move on. Or will we? To Pirate Hat here, printed in Lost Caverns. You can get it for a penny, guys. This is 2 mana, 1 and a blue for an artifact. That's an equipment. It equips for 2, but it equips a pirate for a single mana. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature attacks, draw a card, and then discard a card. It's not great. Just even if you have a pirate, it's not that good. So I'm going to give this a 1.9. Sure. I'll give it a 1.9. Just had to make sure I meant that. I do. Move on to Raff, Stalwart, Weatherlight Stalwart. I was like, what the heck is this? Raff is 2 mana, a white and a blue for a 1/3 legendary human wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you can tap up to 2 untapped creatures you control. If you do, draw a card. You can also pay 5 mana, 3 and 2 white, and have creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. That's actually kind of a nifty activated ability. Not doing too much else that turn, but it's pretty good. But still, an ability that procs when you cast an instant or sorcery is typically good, but you have to tap down Raff and one other guy. Most of the time, that's probably how it's going to work to draw your card. But every time I've looked at this, I sometimes see it in the arena when I'm like brewing up decks, and I think, that's not that bad, is it? It's like 2 mana for a guy that draws you some cards, cares about spell slinging. It's not that bad, but it's just really hard for all the elements to come together, I think, on a card like this. So I'm just going to throw a 5.2 this guy's way. I think a 2-drop that draws your card is always going to be worth something, right? Final card of the day, everybody, is Kirri, Talented Sprout, printed in Mtg Commander. This is 4 mana, 1 a red and a green and a white, so 1 in Naya colors, for an adorable little 0/3 legendary creature, Plant Druid. Other plants and tree folk you control get +2/+0. Awesome. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, return target plant, tree folk, or land card from your yard to your hand. I actually have seen this commander card before. I haven't seen most of them. This one I have. It benefits plants and notably tree folk. That's awesome. I love that. And, it gets you some card advantage every turn from these creature types. Pretty sweet in a changeling's deck as well. I'll throw that out there. So pretty awesome. Also, roaming throne. Yeah, if you have a roaming throne in play, you get back 2 things every turn, which is absolutely stupid. Also, being able to get back lands. Just being able to get back lands. That's awesome. It's so good, dude. I'm going to give Kirri, again, I have to qualify this every time I say it. This is a unique commander. But not only is it unique, it works with 2 different creature types and also cares about lands. So awesome. If you're like a landfall commander deck that's using fetch lands, you get a land back every turn. That's awesome. So really like that. Again, especially if you do have a roaming throne, then you get 2 lands back every turn. That's extra landfall triggers. It's like 4 landfall triggers a turn if you're getting back fetch lands. It's so good. So the card has actually some real versatility in how you can use it as your commander. I like that. And Treefolk doesn't get enough love. It really doesn't. So I'm kind of a huge fan of this. I'm going to give it a 6. Which is kind of high, but don't care. It's a good card. But that is the final card of the day. Again, we got a good one, I think, on our final card of the day. But let me know how you felt about the batch from today, and I will see you bright and early Friday morning, everybody. We're about done with this week, which means we're about done with this preview season, too. Aren't you excited? I am. Love you guys. Bye.